Alrighty, good afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are in the great oceanic region. It's time to kick off our second week of AEL Rocket League. I am Formal. Joining me, as per usual, when it comes to these Rocket League events, it will be Fetch, as we get ready to kick off with not one, but two best-of-5 series to further emphasize who perhaps is going to be standing out, who is going to be making those deeper runs to get into that playoffs, and, well, who is still taking an extra week to figure things out.
Yep, that's exactly it. We have only 2 games this week, which is, I think it's kind of going to be nice. It's a little Thursday afternoon. Oh, I'm really worried I got the time wrong. Yeah, it's this little Thursday afternoon. It's only quick fire games. Of course, we'll be back with more during the week. But I'm kind of keen for these games. I think I've really been focusing on the first game so far because it's currently tied in the standings. It's very interesting. But we want to quickly thank our sponsors, and then we can get a bit more into detail about those 2 teams.
Yeah, absolutely. We can show a quick little bit of appreciation for those who help allow events like this to continue, and we've got 4 great sponsors for this event. Just get ready to bring them up. First and foremost, of course, we have good old Chatime. Oh, that was a little fancy one. Kind of hit the wrong button right there, but yeah, that deal doesn't exist anymore. Sorry to say, that was my bad. But the big thing, though, is what is your favorite flavor when it comes to Chatime? Now, Chatime has been growing quite exceptionally, actually, over the past couple years here in Australia, and now they have, over 120 Chatime breweries, and all of them have that same commitment to quality ingredients and mix-ins. They have that flair for innovative flavor and combinations to brew nothing but those very best iced teas.
Absolutely true, and of course we also have Indomie, who are our noodle partner, as I believe we've been calling them, which I think is a great name. Of course, the classic line, feed your game with Indomie. Also, let us know what kind of Indomie you have, what flavor, and also how you have it, what you have with it. We've had our discussions. We've kind of given our thoughts a few times now, but let us know on social media. Where both our personal social medias and AEL's are. So, yeah, they've actually increased their range a fair bit in recent times. They now have 14 different flavors, I should say, and considering how many different combinations, how many things you can have with them, that is a huge amount of variety.
Yeah, also continuing along, I mean, first of all, McGoring's always going to be great. I still stand by, the big thing I've been doing is, dicing up some steak and adding it to it, which is always brilliant to go. But we also have Rig. What it takes to win. Rig develops headsets that deliver superior audio for the competitive gamers and streamers at all levels. And you know what? Even if you're a casual gamer too, I think you'll find what this sound quality has to offer. So get out there, join the Rig team, and enhance your gaming experience.
Absolutely. And finally, last but very much not least, AOC, our monitor partner. AOC is a global leader in display technology. And of course, as I always say, if you come to our live events, you get a chance to have a look at those AOC monitors. Might be a little while before we have, a huge amount more of those, but when we do, show up, have a look at them, and you'll see just how good they are and just why we rave so much about them. No better way to watch esports than on an AOC monitor. Have a look. They have designs for pretty much everybody's needs.
Yeah, so big thank you again to all 4 of our sponsors there. But now, let's get ready to head into this matchup we were talking about before. This is a Group B matchup between the likes of UTS Eshays and the SUT Flying Pigs. Now, we're looking at that schedule here before, and you can see, where they sit. I thought they were Group B. No, sorry, this is Group C. Our next match is Group B. That's right. This is Group C. The Flying Pigs currently sitting 2-0, where, undefeated, looking pretty good. But then right above them, it's the UTS Eshays, so kind of tied in the standings right now, which tells us this could be an even match. A quick look at those rosters, though. For the UTS Eshays, you have Flicky, Mr. Massey, and Central, as well as Knight, who is, I believe, actually probably one of the starters. Meanwhile, against them, Zero, Finch, and Ellers on the side of the SUT, the Flying Pigs. And look, I'm going to be honest, my prediction coming into this one, I feel like UTS probably are going to be the favorites. They have a bit more experience across the board. This SUT team, I'm actually pretty sure they're the second Swinburne team compared to the team that has the likes of Lethal for Life, Zuko, and Scout, I believe was the other team that, which is probably the A team. This might be the secondary team for Swinburne, and kind of going off that alone, I do feel UTS has the advantage.
Yeah, I'm inclined to think that you're right with that one, but we don't really know yet. And it's kind of deal which I love, and it's why I love the opening few weeks of a season, because very few teams actually go undefeated. Even some of our top teams, even teams who win the season, sort of drop games to some other players and some other teams. And those matches themselves are exciting. But in order to watch those, you have to keep watching these undefeated teams. And I mean, one of them's going to lose today. It's just how the system works, right? You can't have ties in Rocket League, especially not a best-of series. So fundamentally, one of these teams is losing their streak. One of them is going to be establishing that second-place spot, which is the cutoff to make it to the finals. So I'm super, super excited about this.
Yeah, so am I. And we are kicking this one off underway straight away. Finch comes out pretty big on that kickoff for the Swinburne side, but UTS going to look for that counter attack. Knight following up that setup. And you know, I just realized something. It all makes sense to me. I remember back a bit when I was putting together a team for ODL, and Lethal was just talking about how good of a player Knight is. And now all of a sudden it makes sense. Knight's from his same university. That's where the connection does lay. I digress. Mr. Massey going to set up a play off of the roof. Zero will clear it out. However, if you get the seal of approval from a player like Lethal, or more importantly, a coach like Lethal, it can mean good things, as we see Knight slowing the pace down, going for a late reset and putting it in. Look, Lethal can call him, and Knight puts on a show.
That's that's really, really good. And that's the thing, you know, when a player says, oh, this player's cracked, like, watch them, they're going to be so good, you kind of always take that with a grain of salt, because sometimes players just get, like, upset once because of, like, their bad habits, and they're like, oh, this man must be, like, unstoppable. But when a coach gives someone their seal of approval, you know there's, like, a bit more analysis in that. So I like it. Yeah, I kind of think that's really awesome.
Well, I also like how, you know, we talk about it and then is able to show it off straight away. That said, a chance for Swinburne perhaps to respond. Also, I just realized the error in my ways. Knight doesn't play for Swinburne. He actually plays for UTS, who has that lead. So it's the coach / player from a different team giving an opponent prop. Either way, it is what it is. That was my own mistake right there. I just got really excited because I thought I made some big brain connection, but in reality, that was 10 steps backwards.
Well, I mean, it's even bigger praise, you know, if that means. And a really lovely pass back, actually, to Mr. Massey. This offense on the blue side from UTS is really, really good, but they kind of just dropped it a little bit. Okay, I got a little overexcited there. But I did really like that setup as an idea. It looks like they're going to go straight back on it. And this is some really, really good offense. They just need to sort of figure out the coordination behind it. Figure out that last bit to put it over the, you know, in the net. And Knight almost managed to get themselves another one.
Yeah, as we see Mr. Massey now looking to set up through that corner, trying to follow it up towards the backboard. No pass back towards the center. However, UTS still doing a good job through those rotations, at least until Flicky kind of makes a misplay. Should be able to recover. Look, I'm going to be quite frank, though, because I still stand by that this UTS side should be favorites in this match, so I'd be a little bit shocked if they don't wind up winning this series. I want to go one step further. Like, when I look at this lineup, this is a lineup that, in my eyes, realistically should be one of the top 8 teams. They should be able to make it out of this group, which is why this is such a massive opportunity for Swinburne on the tail end of that all. They get this upset here. They actually might put themselves in position to make one of those deeper runs as well. If things go business as usual, this 1-0 lead should hold out. But I don't want to count out Swinburne just yet. They are doing a good job defensively and times challenging, particularly when we see unforced errors coming from the blue side so far in this one. And case in point, they pushed too far forward and they nearly were able to capitalize, just unable to get it through just yet.
Yeah, it does feel like UTS are almost trying to throw everything they have at this first game. Sometimes we see teams play a little slower. That was a really nice little redirect. Always called a flick, that would have been appropriate, but a really nice little redirect at the last second, you know. Cracking this one, Mr. Massey off the side, and Flicky just taking the perfect sort of perfect touch on it to secure the shot and really make it hard for defenders. But yeah, sometimes we see teams kind of play a bit slower, make sure they play reserved, really try and pick up that first game and put that extra carry. You know, it's always the first and fifth games where teams play slow. But I love the fact that UTS are coming out of the gates just absolutely swinging. And it does mean they've made some mistakes, but it has forced this 2-0 lead. On the flip side, Swinburne, yeah, making those contests, getting up and getting aggressive is really, really nice as well from them. So, you know, not kind of looking at this team and saying these are some really good players, we're going to, like, give them too much respect, but still getting up, getting contested, and that 50 could have ended up in real trouble if Knight wasn't quite there as fast.
Yeah, that said, Knight was there, and we are continuing to see, it feels like a majority of control going over to the UTS side. Here's the thing that I'm a little bit worried about, because we're talking about, like, oh, yeah, you know, UTS looks like they're coming in, they're already in form. This also could still be them warming up. Like, they could take it to that next level those next couple games, so I don't want to assume that we're seeing their best shots just yet. In fact, we have seen a couple little unforced errors from them as Finch almost gets the top left bin. And we've seen a couple of those near misses as well from the Swinburne side. So I still expect to see a little bit of raise of play coming from each of these teams as we do move forward in this one. I really do like where players like Knight are playing the ball, and realistically UTS as a whole, they aren't playing, yes, they're playing aggressive and they're also on the attack quite a fair bit, but they're not playing directly in their opponent's face. They are giving some space, but also giving themselves time to react. Case in point was on that goal. Knight was able to read it perfectly and put it in.
Yeah, and I mean, there has been some attempts to disrupt that from their opponents, but it hasn't quite met to anything just yet. And I think that both of these teams aren't quite finding that communication. A big block by Zero, but doesn't quite land in the right spot for the rest of the team to kind of capitalize on it. But actually, no, maybe it is. Zero drops it down very gently. It pulls 2 defenders onto it, but they only commit 1 extra attacker who wasn't quite in the perfect position, still having that 3rd player back. But yeah, this attack, this is good. I like it. I mean, a few mistakes kind of being coming through from UTS like we saw on offense, but at least the pressure is still onto Swinburne. A 3-0 lead is pretty dominant, though, and I'm not sure if Swinburne have 100% what it takes to come back to this.
Well, you know, if we see little mistakes like that from UTS where they block their own shots, there could always be a chance. Not sure what Mr. Massey was trying to pull right there. As it stands, 24 seconds still to go, following through with the bumps as well. Things are looking quite solid. Flicky swings and misses. It was a fake for Massey, who throws it back to Flicky. Pass back towards the center, but Knight was cheating towards the side. Goes for a bit of a cross-up shot. Not enough power behind that due to the quick reaction. A small miscommunication won't mean much on the larger scale of things, because UTS is going to be taking our first game quite comfortably, looking for that 0-second goal. Don't think they're going to find it. UTS wins the first one 3-0.
Yes, that was very dominant form as well from them. You know, like you said, they had the control. They kept the attacks on. The ball wasn't in their defensive half for too long, and it wasn't there down there that often. So I think that UTS showing a really, really good game plan. This is going to be, I mean, I say it's going to just be a matter of Swinburne kind of lifting, but UTS have room to lift as well, right? There's small mistakes. You said that this might be the game where they warm up. I still believe that UTS were playing, not at their limit necessarily, but were playing really, really hard and fast. I think it's just, the question is whether or not they can polish up those mistakes. But it's only like they have to. They're already in the lead, and they're looking really, really good right now.
Interesting. Going for the fake kickoff. Almost pays off. Well, it does give Knight possession of the ball with boost, and a chance to go for a pin shot. Got him just come off the post. That was so excellently set up and nearly pulled off to perfection. Yeah, see, this is what I mean. UTS, they were warming up game 1, and they're not done yet. Knight going to go for 1 reset. Can't quite get the second try to recover it, but a defender steals it away.
Yeah, they're very excited. They're very, very happy in this game. Not in maybe the traditional sense we think of in esports, but very, like, comfortable. They're putting their everything into the game and almost going for the roof shot for Flicky, but just didn't have the momentum. I don't know about the boost either. I didn't kind of follow it through, but again, I like the attempt. But Swinburne going to make a very quick counterattack. It feels like Swinburne, and a little bit from both sides, though. Oh my god, so I have so many universities, it annoys me. I keep getting the acronyms wrong. But UTS, I feel like they've stepped up their team coordination, but it's something which lacked from both teams last game. They weren't quite finding the passes, they weren't quite finding each other on the ball. But actually, huge mistake, but not quite punished just yet. Zero's shot just doesn't have the speed.
Yeah, Mr. Massey just came through huge on that save right there. As we do see a pass forward to Flicky. He's going to be stopped by Ehlers in the box. As Flicky now going to pass it back to Knight, who, again, I mean, it seems like so much of the UTS strategy is give Knight the ball with boost in possession to make something happen, be it a pass play or a shot. And I haven't seen too much from Swinburne actually step up to challenge that just yet. We've seen a few times now where Knight has got possession of the ball in the middle of the field and just been able to do whatever they want with the ball. So I would like to see Swinburne actually play a little bit more aggressively, particularly around Knight, who once again is going to get the ball. See, I like that challenge. It doesn't work out, but it does cause this shot to be a little bit slower than they would have liked, and Finch does come through with the save.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the scoreboard, it's still tied up with you know, only 2 minutes elapsed so far, but actually, that was a huge play from Ehlers. No defenders were quite there to sort of be able to clear it out until Nash comes. And this is almost a good follow-up, but again, Swinburne, they just need that third part of the attack. They need that extra component. Maybe looking for something here as Mr. Massey doesn't quite get a touch onto it. Very gentle, just playing it past the defender. But Ehlers has once again an opportunity, but there's no one to follow up on it.
Knight's going to try to throw it forward to Mr. Massey. No contact made, however, no attacker in position just yet either. As we see Ehlers put it up for Knight, who's going to look for Flicky. Do we see a continued dribble? Not quite. Zero tries to take it away. Massey pass back. Knight has the boost. Just enough to win out on that 50. Really well placement of the ball as he was the second one to it. but still made that first contact. Now Flicky's going to go for a double touch setup, I believe. Finds the middle of the field, but Knight was a bit too far forward.
Yeah, and the topic, I actually don't think there's been a single contest that has been won, hasn't gone the way of UTS. They seem to just be able to take that ball out of that no man's land sort of state and make something of it. It's not always perfect, but they always seem to be the ones meaningfully connecting with it. It always seems to go to them. It's like they've got that extra little level of magnetism on the ball.
It's just knowledge of knowing where to go, where to challenge these 50s, and how to position your car nearly perfectly each and every time. Flicky now versus Ellers. Ellers will win that challenge. And now Ellers has some space to work, but cannot get it past Mr. Massey. Ball gets jammed up in the corner by Knight. Pass back towards the middle, where Ellers is actually going to take it, maintain possession. Runs into a bit of traffic, a little bit of a double commit. It's going to be trying to setting up a pinch. Not the hardest pinch in the world, and not the most accurate one either. Still 90 seconds left in this game. What a pass! What a shot! And finally, UTS connects 1-0 in their favor.
Yeah, that wasn't quite the pinch they were looking for, but hey, it worked out as a really amazing pass play. I think you'd be pretty happy with that one as well, you know?
I mean, that was low-key insane. That's what that was, because both the pass and the shot came from a car off the opponent's backboard. Like, you don't typically see that unless you have complete control of your car, and even then you don't typically see plays like that get played off. And now, oh my gosh, it was a breakaway, but Knight didn't have the boost to follow it through. Still a minute left in this game, still a chance for Swinburne to put something on the board. However, I think there's a little bit of that mental hurdle, or perhaps not, because Ellers finds the gap and ties the game up.
Yeah, that was a full-on, like, NBA bounce pass play. I mean, it was a shot, it wasn't a pass, but, like, I love seeing that. It's really, really good. The fruit explosion. And even though UTS have had firm control of this game in terms of the possession, in terms of the attacking percentage and all of that sort of thing, they actually have still only found the net once so far in this game. So it is tied up, and we could see potentially an overtime, but there is still plenty of time to score, especially if UTS keep on this pressure. And there it is. Flicky just finds it, pulls out of the midfield, and just smacks it in.
Yeah, that didn't take long to find that next goal at all, as we see Knight just a simple pass across the middle. Flicky's there. Only one defender was left. Tried to go for the intercept. Couldn't make contact, and it's a 2-1 lead.
I mean, there is still 50 seconds left. What I said about that last play in UTS is still true for the side of Swinburne, but, you know, they don't seem to have that ability to pull together attacking pressure as well. They've done better this game, but it's sort of... Yeah, it kind of comes off a bit of a misplay. That's sort of how their attacking line goes. So right at the moment, if UTS just play smart, play composed, they should be able to defend this, but here's an attacking attempt from Finch. Yeah,
Finch is going to try to get it through two defenders, but there was no follow-up. Ellers was too far back corner getting their own boost, but now it does bait the defense forward from UTS, and that will enable Zero to find a gap to put it in. As we can see right here, Knight trying to center it, but Mr. Massey was already too far forward up the field. An easy intercept and shot for Zero. Tie ball game with 19 seconds to go.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't quite expect to play that quickly. You know, you expected it maybe to be like that sort of 0-second goal. And on the topic of Zero, they're going to be running it up again. They might look for another one. They might not want to take it to that overtime. I mean, Swinburne kind of found themselves a little bit here, but they might have overextended. Oh, no. Flicky again, just pulling it from the midfield.
I don't even think if they had stayed back, this was going to be an easy save. 123 straight down the middle, but at a near horizontal level. There's a phrase for that, and I believe it's called Boomtown. And that's what UTS just pulled off right there. Flicky, I believe, is one of the original members of Boomtown, and that's why Knight back pass to Mr. Massey. And if we weren't sure before, we're sure now. 4-2 lead in favor of UTS.
You can't say that while I'm drinking. That's mean. Yeah. UTS just pulled it out in that last 15 seconds, I think it was. They're just able to find two quick-fire goals. You know, Swinburne maybe getting a bit too excited, a bit too... holding forward a little bit too much. And even if that one did find the back of the net, it wasn't going to be enough. So UTS pull out another game and to take it to a 2-0 lead. And they've looked great. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I really do think that Swinburne had potential. They kind of have the pieces there now. I mean, I really think that they have what it takes to take this series. But, not take the series, take at least the next game. I don't know.
I'm going to be Debbie Downer on this one.
I don't think it's likely. Yeah, that's where I was going. Pieces are there. I just don't think that the sort of acceleration and ability to come back and fire back from UTS is just probably a bit too much.
I have to give credit, though, to Zero in particular, though, on the side of this Swinburne. I mean, Zero has been the fastest player on that side, has been the one who's been the most consistent in some of these challenges, where especially when UTS is playing more on their own defensive side. That's where Zero seems to get a bit more ball hawkish and looks for some shots. Ooh, Massey almost goes for the bicycle kick right there. However, I do feel my Game 1 prediction was kind of correct in that Game 1, UTS was still warming up, and now we're starting to see that team synergy. We're starting to see, fake pinches, haha, Knight's going to take it himself and score. We're just seeing the team sort of elevate both in terms of the team play as well as the mind games now. 1-0 lead in favor of UTS.
Yeah, that's it. And like I said, the fact that even if UTS do drop the ball a little bit and struggle, they also have that comeback ability. So they kind of just have everything they need to potentially win this game. It's going to be a 1v1 against Flicky, but they don't have the speed on that ball just there. But possibly mistakes like that? No, okay, Knight had it. I thought they might get a little bit more speed on that, but I think it was a tire touch. So, it wasn't quite the perfect spot to put that perfect speed in the shot.
Oh, that's an awkward touch from Ellers. Massey actually makes the save from Flicky's shot. Was trying to go for a bicycle kick redirect, it looked like. Doesn't came through, but that's a miss from Zero. Shot from Knight to set up Flicky. And now we're looking at a 2-0 lead.
That was the full 1-2-3. Knight doesn't quite put it in the doesn't quite put it on target. And yeah, Flicky just managed to find it. That's just good. This is sort of UTS really comfortable in this game. And you're right. They're just looking like the better team right now. But also better than pretty much just about everyone else in the league,
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic and absolutely terrifying. Swinburne, it'd be interesting to see Swinburne face off against, like, normal, very skilled Rocket League players, because I think that'd be a good match,
It could be. It could definitely be, as Flicky is just going to kick that ball and escort it in. 3 points in the first minute, 20 seconds right now as Massey kind of posted it right there. Still found the bump, which helped Flicky put it in. 3-goal lead, a minute 20 into this one. UTS well in control of their own destiny. And it goes back to what I was saying at the start. Like, when it comes to UTS, they're not really a favorite for me in terms of this game. They're kind of one of my favorites to take the entire event, like this entire tournament. I expect to see them in the top 8. I expect to see them win games in the top 8. So we're not in too much shock right now. It's a very, very strong lineup, and so I don't want to take things away from this Swinburne lineup either. But again, I'm pretty sure this is like the second team when it comes to Swinburne as well. So they were always going to be somewhat outmatched as Massey pulls a bit of a musty right there to make it a 4-0 lead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, I think, in this sort of situation. I mean,
not quite.
Okay, yeah, not right about the flip, but
yeah, it wasn't a musty. It wasn't a musty. Hey, sorry, I didn't mean to say your point wasn't right. I was saying Massey's musty was not.
Oh, no, I was agreeing with you, but I was like, I leave all the freestyle knowledge to you. That's something I just if you say it so, that's it. Like, I don't care if that's just it. But no, the point you were making before that is absolutely true. Swinburne being potentially a second team, potentially I kind of hate the term development team, but sometimes that is what these second teams are. They're a bunch of players who are almost at that top level, but just need to, like, kind of get a bit more experience on the pitch. And, that could quite well be what this is for Swinburne. But more to the point, I think they need experience playing together, because it feels like they'd have these great passing opportunities. They'd put the ball where they wanted it to be, but their teammate wouldn't be there. And it looks like there might just be another one as Massey crosses it, but not quite going to be followed up on.
As we do see a clear back the other way, unfortunately, because all three members of Swinburne were back on that backboard playing defense. They can't really follow up that attack. Another miss musty from Massey. He's unable to make contact quite in the way to get that power from that late flick. Knight as well swings and misses 0. As a result, it's going to create some pressure. Ellers open net shot, target, goal. And Swinburne gets one on the board.
There we go. That's something. Again, it's still 2 minutes in the game, so, it's not like it's over, but I think it probably is pretty close to, like, all but, as they say. But yeah, like, I really do believe that the Swinburne team, once they get a bit more coordination as well, are going to look even better. But we'll have to see how they go. There are still, when you look at Group C in particular, not to take anything away from the game, but yeah, when you look at Group C in particular, there is a QUT team called the Real World Fakers who are up there at 3-0. But of course, they haven't faced either of these two teams.
No.
So even though they are our first place team at the moment, that's only, like, that's not necessarily going to be where they stay. They might end up at our third place team. So will Swinburne have another opportunity?
I would have to take a look at that lineup to give you a proper assessment of where they should stand. But of my knowledge, and this is sort of secondhand knowledge of sort of the state of the QUT Rocket League community. I don't imagine they're a team that is going to be competing later in the season to get to that top 8. I could be wrong, but I don't think QUT has that same sort of player pool that some of these other top universities have.
Yeah. Okay. I get where you're coming from. There are also other teams who haven't been given a loss yet. So realistically, I kind of framed this match or this series as the battle for third place. But that was like, if you put a bit more thought into it, we actually don't know how the top of this team is scraping up. And I did misread some of the stats to get to that conclusion. But this fundamentally could be our first and second place team. So this isn't necessarily our battle for second place. It doesn't mean that Swinburne's going to struggle to find a berthing through to the top 8. It's going to be interesting to see how they go though, because I'm not quite sure. I've got a few question marks still about Swinburne. They've done some really cool things. They have been outclassed by what could be the best team in the competition once, push comes to shove. But genuinely, if they do get some of those passing plays working, if they get the positioning just a little bit smoother, I really like their potential to at least make it the 8.
Yeah, I'll be excited to see where they go. And I also did just have a quick look at the lineup as we see Finch put in another goal for the side of Swinburne. Mr. Massey just couldn't really get that backboard pass that they were looking for. They might be competitive, and I think they're like an upper midfield team. I think we'll see that KU team, if I were to make a prediction, around that 3rd, 4th mark of the group. Sir Cookie has been around for a very long time, very experienced player. But when you compare that, honestly, to both of these teams, I'm not too sure. I really rate 0 quite highly. I've said enough about what I think of this UTS team. So it's going to be a challenge for that QT side for sure. But most importantly, this game's coming to the end. It's going to be another 3-0 victory for UTS. And if you want an example of why this team is so scary, I really do recommend going back to game number 2 and just seeing some of the shots that both they were trying to pull off and the ones that they were able to. And that's when they're having fun against another top team of this group. So they still have that serious side to them when it needs to get pulled out. Didn't really need to see too much of it today. End of it all, boomtown for UTS. They advanced to 3-0.
Yeah, and they deserve it so much. I mean, that's a silly thing to phrase. I hate that phrase. But yeah, they looked so fantastic. They will probably be the big boss of Group C. But I am so keen to see how the rest of the teams shape up. You've got the you've got SUT, which we just saw there. You've got QUT, you've got UCID, you've got UQU. All are currently undefeated, though UQU have only played 1 game, so you put less stock in that. But I really think that Swinburne could be fighting for that 2nd spot, or at absolute worst, the 3rd. But if they keep it up, they practice, they work hard, I really do expect that to be possibly the top 2 teams. We have to look at the rest of the roster, so I think Group C is going to be super exciting.
Yeah, I want to take a quick look at the UCID Open Nets, actually, because they're the other team that might be actually, a team to look out for. They beat Southern Cross Yellow earlier 3-1. We're just going to take a quick look at that roster. Biker Glass, Classic, Destruct, and Witzel. Okay. I mean, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat. Not too familiar with those players, so it's going to be hard for me to accurately judge them. But kind of seeing what Group C has, after watching to see how UTS played today, I think it's safe to say to call them the favorites of Group C right now.
Oh, so much. Yeah, absolutely. I do think that I do think that they're going to be the top dogs. I don't think there's any too much discussion about that. But I think the 2nd, possibly even the 3rd place fight should be a very interesting one. But that's something for us to kind of see in the future. I'm not sure if there's anything else to say about that game. UTS just looks so fantastic. Yeah,
nothing more to add to that one. So we're going to throw it to a break and get ready to go for our 2nd match of the evening. Not going to want to miss this one, I am sure. It's going to be a little battle between the another QUT team, the WHIFFER Sniffers, this time taking on AUE White. So don't go too far. We got more AEL Rocket League when we return. All right, welcome back, everybody, as we get ready to kick off what should be our second and unfortunately final series. It's going to be QUT versus AUE, the Whippersnippers taking on AUE White. I mean, Whippersnippers probably, it's a little bit more out there, although we go for colors for AUE White, because they have a white team and they also have AUE Black. I'm not sure which team is stronger, which team is weaker. All I know is we're going to be seeing them on the pitch in just a few moments. So coming into this second match, after seeing our first games, I have to admit, Fetch, if UTS set the standard and the bar, I don't know if either of these teams have the roster to kind of match it.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that, but we can't have every game be a banger. So, hey, I am kind of interested in this one though. There's a lot of players I don't know the name. I don't know in terms. I don't know what we're going to see from them. I don't know what we're going to expect. So I think I'm actually kind of excited just to, just generally like see what they've got, see what they're bringing to the table, and kind of see, where they go from here. I know it's very vague takes, but when you're talking about teams who are, at least to me, relatively unknown, that's kind of how it is.
All right, as we get ready to keep going with this one, we're just going to quickly go through some of the rosters real quick. For the QUT side of the Whippersnippers, you have Dunk Kong Fuchsius, Luminous Lamp. How I should never read these names. Anyways, Luminous Lamp 367, as well as Fuzzy Quills on the QUT side. Oh my goodness. AUE White, however, has Cash Lounder, Silly, and Gypsy going to be playing for them. So we will see how these teams go out on the pitch. We have given them the word like, hey, it's okay to join up, and as soon as they're ready, we are going to head out there. Furthermore, though, if we want to take a quick look at sort of the standings, I suppose we have a little bit of time to do that as well. Both these teams in Group B, each of them kind of sitting towards the bottom. They're tied each with 1 win, no losses thus far. So looking to keep up with teams like the Monash Ball Chasers, like the Swang Gang from Swinburne. We kind of spoke a bit about them before. Those are kind of the favorites we have in this group. And if you want to compete with the favorites, you got to win the matches like this.
Yeah, that's just it. You've nailed it. So realistically, I think that it's going to be unlikely that I think these teams are going to be really hotly contesting them. But like maybe we see that. They are technically, again, undefeated. We're at that point in the season. This group, it's not like 2-0s and 3-0s. It's more like 1-0s. So in their one game these two teams have played, it seems like they haven't dropped one. Though, looking at the standings at the moment, I'm not entirely sure how that works out. Because we've got different teams on different games for like halfway through the week. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure how that is all going to go. But I think we're about to get ready to get into the game.
Well, yes and no. We're getting ready to remake the lobby and the game as we had a bit of a misfire out there. So just stick with us, and soon we will get back into it. I mean, hopefully we will not take too long, but these things happen. So our players are just a little bit overeager, I feel.
Yep, they are. Sorry, I'd forgotten that this is a thing, so if you just give me a second, I'm going to get the game back up.
Yeah, no worries. Shouldn't take too long to get back into it. But yeah, definitely a little bit of a premature misfire. I was ready to go as well, so, I can't hold it against these players, and neither should you. Here's an interesting thing, though, coming into this one, because so far, every game that we've had, actually, this Uni League, it's only been 3-0s on stream. I'm going to make a bold prediction. We're going to go 5 games this one. I think this is going to be the long one.
I'm keen. We haven't had a full 5-game series.
We haven't even had a 4-game series yet.
Yeah.
It's been all 3-0s.
Yeah, true. It has been all 3-0s. I mean, there's been some close games in there, which I know is like everyone hates that, but there have been some close-ish games. There have been some good displays of skill. But fundamentally, yes, I would like to see a 4-game series, but I'd love to see a 5-game series, especially given the fact we only have 2 series today. I've said the word series too much, losing all meaning. But yeah, it looks like we will have a bit of a delay getting to this one as well. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of don't know what to think about it. I hope we get a best of 5 because, like, when you do get these close teams, and there are a lot of close teams in the league, it isn't just a matter of, like, the top punching down on the bottom, which has kind of been the games we've seen so far. But yeah, I think that it will be a closer series. I expect 4 games at bare minimum. I don't know if I'll like co-sign on your 5-game prediction, but I think we're going to see at least 4.
I'm slamming it down 5. And this goes against everything I believe in too when it comes to Rocket League, right? Because, like, I believe a good team should always 3-0 the lesser team. Always. No exceptions. Every series should always be a sweep. Realistically, we can trim down on time, make everything a best of one because the better team should always win. But that's not how it works, and sometimes even the better team does mess up. I consider 5-game series to be blemishes on the winning team, and you know what? Props for the teams that lose. However, in this situation, not knowing too much about these teams, just saying that they're quite evenly skilled and matched, I think this is going to be one of those rare exceptions where 5 games should be expected and should be considered the norm.
Yeah, okay, that was very intense, and I wasn't expecting it, but I think there's validity to that, you know, if you are a better team. I mean, sometimes it can be a matter of, like we say, you know, figuring out what the team's going to do, figuring out how your players are feeling, who's like, you know, who's stepping up, who's just on the game. Less so than in other games, you know, you get things like character-based games, character shooters, MOBAs, where you do have time to adapt and rebuild your strategy or even play different maps. Unlike that, in Rocket League, it's the same game every single time. So fundamentally, I think you're actually right on that one. It's not something I'd really thought about. But yeah, I think 4-game series, I think they're like acceptable, because if you take a game to sometimes figure yourself out, or you just drop one game because you like need a bit of a mental reset, I can see that. I think that's like understandable. But yeah, no, a 5-game series has to mean something interesting is going on. But hopefully that game is yeah, it is that game. This series in particular should live up to that interest factor, especially as these are 2 teams who I'm sure will need time to figure out what they're doing in the league. They've already played, I think, 1 series each, like exactly 1 series each. Yep. Yeah, they played exactly 1 series each. So,
yeah, we'll be keen to see. We'll be keen to see how they do match up. I am hearing word on the grapevine, though, there is a chance that I might have to go back and walk back my prediction due to circumstances. It could be a situation where we're getting a 2v3, in which case I will change my prediction to a 3-0 for whichever team has 3 members on it. Not sure which. We are trying to avoid that kind of situation, so please do bear with us. We will be getting on to the pitch soon enough, hopefully, as we are possibly seeing another remake in the future. Not too sure what is happening. Players have been joining and leaving kind of as we've been waiting along. I do imagine, though, we're not long until we get an official ruling.
Yeah, exactly that. We had a 2-minute warning a little while ago, and so that should be it. I don't know exactly how long ago it was, though. Yeah, so I don't know exactly how this one's going to go. It's sort of back and forth, bit of confusion in terms of, it's mostly just admin and things like that, which is very hard to manage when you have so many teams, universities, things like that. You have all these checks to go through, but I believe it will be a 2v3 at this point. So the problem was, formally, you haven't been dusting your crystal ball. If you're going to use a crystal ball, you have to make sure it's nice and clean, so there are no smudges. So when you see the 5, you can read that it's 5 players and not 5 games. That's where you went wrong.
Yeah, see, it's, look, I know I've been needing to clean this thing for a little while now. Yeah. Probably make some time to do it after this series does come through and gets done dusted. Can't do it right now. For what we can do right now is continue to wish to the powers that be that we can get into this, although it does look as if now everyone is leaving the match, so the powers that be seem to not be happy with me at this current moment. We're not sure what's going on. I think we're going to throw it to... Nope. We are on the cusp of throwing it to a break, but then everyone rejoined back in. So maybe not. Maybe yes.
I think because everyone got the new details, they didn't realize that this lobby also had those details. So it was a leave rejoin kind of deal.
All right.
But it seems like, look, we've got to be going anytime now. This is it. It's got to the point where it's just, let's go. Yep. All right, there we're going. Everyone's jumping in. But we will, I believe, have to play out that 3v2.
Oh boy, QUT, a member down. It's always QUT. I feel like QUT has been played more 2v3s in the history of AEL than any other university. That's just my thought. I'm not basing this on anything. I'd have to go back and double check. Like that involves some serious sort of stat researching, but 100%, I feel like it's always QUT that is stuck in these 2v3 situations. This is massive for AU, however, as they're already getting themselves set up, and no, can't quite tap it in as the Fuzzy Quills makes the save.
Yeah, so a strong start from our dynamic duo, which is, you know, always the name we give the player the team who's rocking 2 players only, and they have been scored on. AUE, they found their first goal, but yeah, that's it's going to be hard. It's going to be a real uphill battle for the side of QUT. I feel like there was a team last year who played like 3 of their games with only 2 players. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's all a bit
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's a tough ask. I mean, I feel like we've done a few of these for now. I've never noticed the DeLorean boosts actually underneath the wheels. That looks kind of sick. As it stands right now, though, AU, they're putting on a bit of an offensive clinic, although Gypsy unable to find that last touch for the shot. We will still see Silly look to pass it forward to the Cash Launderer, who will look to pass it down, but can't make contact with the ball, so instead, kind of gets in Silly's way. Just because you're a member up doesn't excuse, perhaps, breakdowns in communication. Silly now, 2 defenders in front of them, won't be able to clear it through.
Yeah, not in that one, at least. Looking for another opportunity. That's the high mechanic play. I say high because it was physically high, like high mechanic by my standards. But yeah, they're going for shot after shot after shot. The hard part in this situation is because normally you only commit 2 players up on an attack. You want to have that 3rd player hanging around the midfield mark. So hypothetically, you can just hold off the attacks for as long as you want if you are the blue team, but that doesn't actually win you the game. Whoop, that doesn't win you the game either, as that was a clean 1v1 to be fair. But yeah, if they can't pull it out of this defensive line, they really just have no hope, and Silly sets it up. Cash Launder slides into the back, and yeah, it's just a goal. It's a 2-0 lead right now. Yeah,
Fuzzy Quills just swung and missed that, unfortunately, and that is what's going to allow that goal to go through. I don't think we're going to be seeing that crazy 2v3 upset. I know it's pretty early to call. I mean, only a minute and a half in right now, but we haven't seen any QUT attack. It's all been AU thus far. As we watch that ball sail back across the midline, maybe we get to see something from QUT right here. Silly slows it down in the corner, looking for that pass back. Double commit again from this AU side, but they will be able to somewhat follow it up, at least till Fuzzy Quills gets a touch in the corner, where Cash Launder is going to sit, wait, look for the pass across the middle. Here comes Silly with a Silly shot, and it's good enough to be scary, but not enough to go to the back of the net. Another attempt, not quite. Silly doesn't have the read.
Yeah, not quite there. Good play pushing it up here, and actually even better from Fuzzy to be able to kind of pull that out wide, pull it up high, and just keep the ball off. Keeping it off for at least a little bit, but again, being that player down really cost him there. No one to pass to, no real extra pressure. Double commit on defense means your whole team is out of action. Cash Launder finds another one.
Yeah, another goal right here as we see. It was a weak touch across the middle, but unfortunately with both members going for that touch, no one was there to follow it up and bang it through and find that deep clear. So it turns into a perfect pass for their opponents. Credit where credit is due right now, though. This AU side, they are attacking. They are playing their numbers quite well. And I feel like, they're doing what they need to do to win this game.
Yes, absolutely right. They're doing exactly what they need to do. They aren't taking any sympathy for the team who are 2-3 down, and that makes sense. It's a competitive tournament, right?
Yep, exactly that, and they're just going to keep piling on. All right, I think we're at the stage where we just got to kind of kick back, relax, and get a little comfortable right now until QUT figures out a way to get some consistent clears through despite the man disadvantage. I feel like we're just going to see the score get run up right now because they just aren't able to keep a sustained defense running.
I mean, the other thing is that there is a chance. Here's how your 5-game prediction comes through, right? Okay. QUT dropped the first 2 games. They sub in their 3rd player who is because there is, at the moment, I think it's just an admin issue. It's just making sure that everything's kind of, T's are crossed, I's are dotted. If they get an opportunity to sub in that 3rd player and then they pull the reverse sweep, boom, 5-game series. And that is still a possibility, It's not like they are just, this is it. We're locked into a 2v3 for the rest of the series. We saw last season, there were quite a few situations where a team would play 1 player down and then, they'd have that substitute come in after the 2nd or 3rd game. So there we are. Your prediction is not dead yet, but if they don't find a substitution, or if, one of the players from AUE does and have a random internet dropout or something like that, then it's probably going to be the series for AEL. Just looking at this, looking at how it's going.
Yeah, this first game has been pretty rough right now, as we do see Gypsy looking to just tap that ball, and no, missing the open net. Oh, that's a little bit awkward right there, and perhaps a small break that this QUT side actually needs, as they're going to look to try and clear something across that middle of the field. We do see Cash Launderer hold the ball in place, doesn't quite find that second touch right away. Eventually, it does wind up in possession of Fuzzy Quills, who will lose out to Silly. Back and forth we go. A challenge across the middle of the field. Pass back over to Gypsy, who will play it through the corner. A second touch, not quite there, but the third touch is, and Cash Launderer makes it a 5-0 lead.
Yeah, that is exactly it. And I mean, not like the difference of 1 goal is going to change much here, but we'll see, right? We'll see how we go. fundamentally, fundamentally, one thing I'm very disappointed with from the side of AUE is the fact they have 2 esports skins, and then one player is missing one. Silly just doesn't have one, you know? And I feel like it's fine not to have a specific, you know, car design, decal, whatever you want to call it. But surely then your team in, like, they work with you, you know? Uniform jersey, that's what you want.
6-0 lead, by the way. I do agree a uniform jersey would be nice.
Something you want too.
But, you know, leads are nice as well, as we just see this one get played straight down the center and in off that post. It's pretty good. So with the 6-0 lead, under 30 seconds to go, I feel as if we could see the Brazil, maybe not in this game necessarily, but now I'm also starting to think a little bit ahead right now. Do we eventually see that 7-1 lead? Pass across the middle, but it's not quite going to go in.
It's possible, actually. You make a good point. I agree, maybe not this game. It'd have to be some really, really big play from QUT or a big blunder from AUE combined with just like a fluke last-second goal. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably very unlikely, like you said. With 1 second to go, in fact, it's impossible. Oh, that pass, that little like dribble off to the other player. I don't even think that was intentional, but I liked it. You know, it was cute, as we say.
Yeah, it was cute. It was neat and tidy as well. So I'm gonna kind of consider it. I believe still. End of it all, a 6-0 lead for AUE, a 6-0 victory, 4 goals scored by Catch Launderer, and 0 scored for Silly. And I don't think that's fair, because Silly took just as many shots as everyone else on their team in theory. All right, Gypsy did get 1 more in. However, I do want to see everyone on that team get equal scoring opportunities, so my eyes are going to be on Silly to maybe get a few more goals on the board.
Yeah, and just maybe, QUT might have their reinforcements into this next game. You notice that we're not readying up just yet. There's a slight delay in this one, and that might be because there's the horn. It's not the horn. It's just the Gondorians are coming. There's reinforcement. I think that's it, right?
Oh, fingers.
It's been a while since I've watched it. There's a 6th player in the lobby. Oh. I think we might have a full series now.
Oh,
I think it might be what you are going for. I think it might be happening.
All right, well, we got something. The series just got a little bit more interesting, I feel like, with the inclusion of Key, who has arrived for the QUT side, I would have to assume, or it's turning into a 4v2, in which case all hope is well and truly lost. No, that is not the case.
Players. That still fits the requirement of 6 players. So I think... Oh, okay, it's not. I thought the player's name ended, like, their actual, like, first name ended in E. Oh, okay. I was so sure that was going in. Silly was going to put it in. There we are. All right.
Hey, so, Silly got their goal.
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought of that. I was more thinking about the fact that AUE have the lead anyhow. So if we see like a 7-goal advantage this time, that's going to be really unfortunate. You know.
I don't think we're going to go that far just yet. However, this does sometimes happen with teams where with 2 players, they usually play stronger defense and opponents find it harder to score goals. Then when they have that 3rd member, they get over-aggressive, thinking they have that earnest. Well, Key may have had that earnest right there. That was a good shot from their own side of the pitch. Now we get to see QUT on attack finally, and it lasts all of about 1 touch before we see Cash Launderer now find that setup looking. Trying to get something, not going to get it right there. Here comes Gypsy looking to play it through off that backboard. No one in the immediate area. Silly looks for a pass forward, but instead gets intercepted by Key.
I mean, there was a demo, so there was potential for a demo goal coming through there, but didn't quite work out. They didn't quite get the ball in the right spot. But yeah, the fact that at least it's been a bit more contested, you know, there's been a bit more, like, you can tell there's more players in the field, obviously, but the fact that there has been a few more opportunities and a few more openings for QUT, but AUE have still found these passing plays, they've still found the setup on the offense, and maybe QUT needs to get just like that much more aggressive to kind of counteract these attacks before they get so much time.
As we do see more backward setups, but in the end, no one is able to really punch it through until we see Silly try to center it into the box. Cash Launderer puts it up towards the backboard. Key can't make the read, and Cash Launderer is just able to sneak one by. A 2-0 lead now in favor of the orange side.
Yeah, so that was also, to be fair, that was a very, very, very awkward defense, especially if you're not as experienced in the game. You know, obviously the higher tier players tend to have answers for that, you know, hanging up the higher part of the goal. But if you don't have that veterancy, that is such an awkward shot to kind of defend from. 2 over at the moment, but it is looking a lot closer. QUT finding a bit of rhythm in this game, finding a bit more, but not enough to actually make the scoreline go their favor.
As we do see that challenge across the middle of the pitch right now, a chance perhaps for either side to really make something happen. Silly is going to play it off that backboard, but runs into a bit of trouble. Cash Launderer now playing a bit of defense. Key looking for something, looking for anything, but runs into a bit of traffic. That will enable Silly to get that clear across the middle of the pitch. Cash Launderer doesn't quite get the touch they want, but Gypsy's already there waiting. Ball off that backboard. Key going to clear it out from the box, and I don't know, it feels like this game is very similar to game number 1, just with an extra member now on QUT. They just haven't been able to get, realistically, any sustained offensive pressure and are constantly on that back foot.
Yeah, but it's also because of just where they're putting their players. I feel like they're putting so many players in defense. I mean, they're still getting scored on, which is really unfortunate, but it feels like they always have 2 players back on the defensive line. Sometimes picking up boosts when they shouldn't. Sometimes, actually, that was a really good shepherd by Cash Launder. But, yeah, the fact that it feels like there are always 2 players back, so any offensive attempts are solo attempts, and it ends up turning into a 1v2, or if they're not quite fast enough to build the momentum, a 1v3 even. And it's just another one finding the back of the net.
Yeah, they just are continuing to pile on these goals right now. A 4-0 lead. As we see right there, Gypsy's able to put it in the left side. This is looking very good for, you know, everything coming up AU right now. And we kind of were joking about, I was like, imagine, you know, if they continue to add points, what if they make this a 7-goal game? Well, they're on pace to make it 8, Fetch. This is turning into a very one-sided affair.
Maybe this is where you get your Brazil scoreline. I think we had it last week. Oh, yeah, it was last week. It wasn't literally 7 days ago, so I had to think about that for a sec. But yeah, last week's games, we did see 1. We might see it again in this one if, but that does kind of require QT finding a bit more of a coordinated attack. There are 2 players here. One's maybe hanging around midfield, but again, it's sort of 1 player committed to the attack, the other 2 holding midfield or defensive positions.
As we do see Key looking to play off that backboard. Actually takes it right over the top of not 1 but 2 defenders. As they look to hold that ball in the box, it only goes so far too with it. Eventually Fuzzy Quills will play it forward. Only goes so far, pass back towards the box, and now we get to see the clear come from the AU side. Gypsy goes 1v1 against Key. Does win out enough to keep the offensive pressure moving forward, yet with only about under 100 seconds remaining, you do feel like QUT needs to get some offense going, and that's not it. Another point for the orange side.
Yeah, that's just 1 more goal. It is only 5 at the moment, 1 more, and they equalized what they had in the last game, to be fair. And like we talked about, what if? But AUE are playing a slightly better game, you know? Last game, it felt like they were taking it easy. They knew it was a 2v3. They were a bit comfortable. I think Silly even tried to go for a bit of an aerial play at one point. But this is much more, no, we close this game out. We absolutely show that we are still going to be the dominant team here. As Silly actually mentioned their name, they just managed to find another one. But yeah, I really think that it's been the fact that AUE has been lifting. Like, it obviously feels really bad for QUT here, but this is, of course, for those of you who don't know, because this is something which we found out kind of, you know, through discussion with the teams, so I don't think we've actually said it, Key is a substitute.
Yes.
I think this team is missing their captain, and that is a big, like, that's a solid loss. If you're going to miss 1 player out, the captain's usually the worst, but we don't actually, you know, really, I don't think you expect this team to suddenly be like 10 times better just because they have 1 player in, because it's not like Keys look bad either.
No, I agree with you on that front, but it definitely is not a good sign when you are missing a player coming in. You have to panic. Someone's coming in. Key obviously coming in most likely very, very cold in this situation, considering that they even missed that first game. So it was one of those backs against the wall type situations. 6-0 now mirroring the same scoreline as what we saw in the you know, the 2v3. We're now in that same position. I still think we have a chance for that Brazil scoreline as we watch and see what Gypsy's able to do right here. Gets it close to the net, but is unable to push it in.
Yeah, Luminous Lamp almost, like, only just managed to find that kind of save there. And almost, almost a very, very, very dangerous spot to put the ball there from Key, but the attack's still on from AUE. 17 seconds left. You gotta think there's gonna be only 1 more goal in this game, if any. But actually, Key might have a bit of a breakaway. Is there a teammate there? It's the one thing they've needed. Oh, no. Oh, actually, it's fine because Fuzzy gets it. Finally, QUT are on the board. Floodgates are opening. Reverse sweep. Here we go.
And now comes the kickoff goal to make it 7-1.
Oh, true. True. This is it.
This is it. This is what we're going to see right now. Can AUE bring us the meme? It looks good for Gypsy, who's able to clear it towards the box. Fuzzy Quills, though, will get it behind Silly, and that should ruin our hopes and dreams. Or will it? Because Silly does keep it up high. Cash Launderer is going to try to throw it forward. Key gets in the way, but Silly still gets contact through the demo. Gypsy stays with it, can't get it to the wall, and AUE advanced to 2-0 on the series.
When that ball went back with like the 4 seconds to go, I was like, nah, it's done. And then those dying seconds as the ball was just hitting the little side ramp there, I was really wondering. I was really wondering if that might have happened, but
wanted to believe.
Not today.
Wanted to believe.
There's still one more game at bare minimum, you know. This could, if this isn't the reverse sweep from QT, then maybe it's the Brazil, but QT, they found the back of the net. They know what goals taste like.
They do know what they taste like, and they taste sweet. They know what victory tastes like as well. They won last week. Perhaps they can find a way to bring this one back. As we kick off our next game, our third and possible final game of the evening. Should it go AUE's way? They've already got 1 point off the board as Cash Launderer scores off the kickoff.
Yeah, Cash Launderer was like, this is the goal I wanted at the end of last game. We were so close. We almost had it. But, still starting off in a pretty solid fashion there.
Very solid.
What is it? 6 seconds? It's a goal? And it's going to be like, hey, this game, you really want to make the point that this game is going to go exactly the way the last two went. Yeah,
that's that's what they're looking for.
QT playing with a little bit more space. I mean, we're only since 13 seconds of their play, but at least that kind of playing with more space or not, it means that they've got a few more opportunities and they will be able to play and use the skills they do have.
As we do see Key look to play through that corner, challenged by Silly, loses out, ball rolls across the middle of the field. It's rolling all the way back, actually, as Fuzzy Quills looked like it was about to jump back to 19. What is it, 1980? Well, no, because the movie was in 1988. Yeah, but then that's when the movie came out, right?
But it's 88 miles an hour is how fast they have to go. So I think I might just be beating myself. If that's a connection I just never realized, then damn. They go forward, I think, to 2000 and. Oh,
they go forward, but they also go backward. Like the original, they only go back in time.
Oh yeah, no. I only know the time they go forward. I think it was my 20th birthday or something. Probably wouldn't have been 2007.
So wait, you've seen the sequel and not the original?
No, I've seen all of them. I just don't remember the original. It's just that like one stuck with me because, like I said, it was like my 20th birthday.
True.
Whereas it's like, it might have been my parents', I don't know, like 17th or something, which is like a less memorable number. It's less round. So.
Well, look at.
Exactly.
The third one is the one that you want to forget. Just like QUT at the moment, probably kind of want to forget this game right now. Although for them, the third one's been going the best for them. Only allowed 1 goal in the first minute and a half. It's the best look we've seen from QUT thus far. AUE going to try and set something up off through that backboard. Do we see the play from Cash Launderer? I think we do. Finds Gypsy, but they do not find that goal. As we see Fuzzy Quills pass back towards the center. Key over to Silly. Off the post again. So close yet so far. Time again.
Yeah, there it is. It's going to be pulled up the line potentially, but no, actually, the attack being held on very strongly by AUE, but this time they're not quite finding the goal, and that was good to win on the contest, but again, a bit more space being used by QT. They're able to kind of use that to their advantage, playing the fact that they have 3 players. They've kind of gotten used to that. Let's put it that way. Key going to get aggressive and actually flick it over the top. Oh, that was so close. No one there to pick up the crossbar this time. Luminous Lamp sets up for another one, though. Key's still in the area. Nah, not quite.
Now, Fuzzy Quills was underneath, but decides to fall back as well, so that will leave it to Key to play through the corner again. Trying to set up the ping pong. Luminous Lamp sitting middle of the field. That's going to make things dangerous. But too much pepper set up by Key. Means no shot just yet. They're going to have another look, and Key's going to take it themselves off the corner and into the net. We got ourselves a tie ball game.
That was a really good goal as well. Have a look at this. It comes off the roof to get the flip reset. Not quite a flip reset. You know what I mean. To get their flip back, and then they just slam it in. That is so good. Like, that is just a step above anything else we've seen this game.
Yeah, this game, absolutely. That's been fantastic stuff from the QUT side, showing that they still are in this match. And now AUE, first time this entire series gets challenged so close to the finish line. How do they respond? Well, it's going to be another quick goal from Cash Launderer. That's how. Back out in front, this orange side continues to roll.
Yeah, Luminous Lamp didn't quite get the angle on that one they might have liked. Key kind of indexed towards getting the Shepherd rather than heading straight back to goal. Took a little bit longer, But to be fair, it was also a good play on the defensive side, just kind of beat that obstruction and just kind of get in the road. So that was quite good. That was like a well put together attack from AUE, and it forced some really awkward decision making out of QUT. But they have another shot, another attempt at the goal right now. 2 players up here in that left pocket, but not quite going to find that momentum on it. 3 players have actually pushed up, so a quick counterattack from QT could be a very dangerous thing.
As we do see a little setup being set up by Key, but they're not able to get it just yet. Luminous Lamp throws it back. Silly. Throw across the middle. A chance perhaps, but gets shut down by Key. Only 100 seconds left to find another goal for this QT side. Make that 2! As I don't know how Silly saw that shot through all the traffic. It's another one of those bouncers, the dribble shot that you like so much. The end result's still the same, 3-1.
Yeah, it's the bounce pass shot. I don't know. There's a much better name for it than that, but I just bounce passes were the fondest memories I have of the basketball court. But yeah, 3-1 lead, a much closer game, a much more structured game of Rocket League. And you think the QT have potential to kind of score again in this game, but it'll take more than just one small score. Key gets the ball again, doesn't quite put the right angle on it, but almost gets an opportunity to counterattack. Good defense, just getting rough, getting aggressive, and getting a knock just to pull it out of the play. That was almost a huge ground pinch. It still almost went in. The follow-up from Cash Launder wasn't quite there, though.
Not quite there just yet. Still, Cash Launder is going to try to play through that corner. Ball being set up for Silly underneath. Do we see another shot? Yes. Do we see another goal? Not quite. Key there to push it out. Gypsy. Now again, back across the middle. Cash Launder gets challenged, loses out. Ball up that backwards. Silly has a look, has a read, has a touch. Trying to find Cash Launder once more off the backboard, but not into the net.
Not quite. Luminous Lamp goes up for it as well. It's going to have to be a clear out from the side of QT. Doesn't quite work out. 44 seconds. They can't just keep playing defense. They have to find a clearance. They have to find a goal. And they have to reset and find another just to take this to overtime. They're all clumped up a little bit on defense. Very static. So it could be quite at risk of a very quick play. They've pulled it out, but they did lose themselves position a little bit, and they haven't found a way to actually properly resonantly clear. Resonatingly? A big, strong clear is what they need right now. So he keeps the ball in play for a little bit longer, but again, doesn't quite find the pass. Yeah,
as we are going to have our final 10 seconds. I don't think QUT's coming back unless they get the goal right now. And that's off a side wall over to Luminous Lamp. The shot's on target, and Silly saves the game. With that touch, it's going to be over, and AUE, they're going to win this series, a 3-0 sweep, as all good series should be. They continue their undefeated record as well, now sitting 2-0.
Yeah, and it does feel a bit rough for QT. You got to think that if they had their full regular roster, they could have had a solid chance. But huge credit to Key for being kind of almost the star player in that one, possibly coming out of their high ELO ranked games and being quite warm. That's my theory. I know you said that they're probably just a bit cold, but I reckon that's the case. But yeah, that is our only 2 series for today, of course. And that last one was a bit one-sided, possibly one of the more one-sided ones we've seen, and was 2 teams we expect to kind of be competitive with each other. If you do rematch them with a full squad, maybe it goes differently, but who can say? At the end of the day, the preparedness difference. I don't know. The team were able to all be there together. Preparation, but it is tricky to manage to get all of your players together on a given night, especially with university, with work, with things like that. So it is just unfortunate that we didn't get to see a full strength QT in that game. Yeah, it is unfortunate that we didn't get to see it, but the end result is going to stick, it looks like, and that's going to do us for tonight. But fret not, there is still plenty more Rocket League coming over these next few weeks. So if you haven't already, please be sure to drop that like, follow, subscribe on whatever platform you happen to be watching these games on. And remember to come back on Saturday, because we not only have more University Rocket League starting at what I believe is going to be 6:30, with the 2 of us, but we also have the high school Rocket League as well starting at 2. So it's going to be a full day of Rocket League here at AEL that you do not want to miss. Not to mention there's Dota, you got your CSGO, and Hearthstone seems to be making its rise once more. So all the more reason to drop those follows and tune in and see what's happening. Absolutely. All of those games are incredibly exciting. I've loved watching people amongst there, chatting with some of the casters about their games, getting to learn a bit more about them as you watch them. It's a great experience, and a lot of these, a lot of the same universities will be competing across all of them. So if you like one university, if you start liking one of the teams in Rocket League, have a look at their competition in the other leagues as well. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Also, be sure to give your casters a bit of love as well. We have
We have Twitters. You can follow them. You can check us out. And until Saturday, everybody, we'll see you out there on the pitch. Have a great night, everybody.